And it's watering hole, and that's a fun map. Not exactly sure Elmo will agree, but he has
Yep.
already used the veto in the last game, so yeah, he has to actually play through it.
It's actually a good map for both players. So, like, it's a fair map. This one is a fair map. It really comes down to the middle town centers. That's the only thing that matters. Where are the middle town centers?
Yeah, pretty nice back gold mine right now for Kimo, just discovering it at the top. So that's definitely going to help him, as he doesn't need to emerge all that much. Especially looking at the water in there, it might be going quite far away. I'm kind of interested how far away it's actually gonna go for him. As so far, Elmo has just discovered one gold mine very, very far away to the bottom. That's kind of sucky for him. Better
There should be one
toxins.
more.
Yeah, there should be. At the top, I would be expecting right next to second DC. We're expecting some gold mines. He's having extra hunt in there. Already one gazelle shown through the piggy scouting. And has he discovered something else? We have seen a bit ago, the very start of the game, two rhinos inside his base. Nice three piggies on the right corner. So quite a lot of food right now for Elmo. And same cannot really be said for his opponent. He, of course, does have the two rhinos as well. But he so far hasn't discovered all that many piggies, so he will be potentially raidable. But looking at the hunt on the left, if there's going to be a TC, which I'm thinking there will be, well, that might be a pretty decent spot for him. Let's wait a bit as he's scouting with the Pharaoh on the left corner. And yep, there's a TC. Well, that's a very nice one. That's actually a pretty nice map, and even though he doesn't have protected gold on the left side so far, from what we are seeing, the one on the right should be also easily protectable for him. As should be just placed in a wall about the front of his base, and should be pretty much fine right next to the water. So I'm kind of liking this map for Kimo. Elmo has discovered finally the gold at the top, but yeah, right
Okay, I
now,
already know what Elmo is going to do. 3 town centers. That's what he's going to do. He's gonna grab the forward TC, and then he's gonna grab the back TC. That's what I would do, and that's what he's going to do.
that's actually a pretty
Pretty
great
soon.
TC, especially because of those two elephants.
Yep,
So
and also he will have the villagers really close to it because of the second hunt spot. The zebras and the giraffes in front of his hunt.
well, this is definitely going to be quite nice for him because it's looking like that the third TC of Kimo is going to be somewhere more to the top, which is not ideal for Kimo. And if Elmo controls the TC in the middle, he's going to be having pretty good chance of controlling the front TC of Kimo as well. And yeah, that might really be hard for him. Right now discovering it at the top. So yeah, it's really out of any kind of reasonable way, and the TC in the middle really might be quite important for him. Even though it's not guarding any kind of gold, so the two gold mines potentially on the left are going to be available to Kimo. Still, if Elmo plays this correctly, he will be able to force a defensive migdol from Kimo, and that really will be all up to the back gold mine that he has. And once that runs out, good luck with the rest of the game, I guess.
Yep. There's only one gold mine for Kimo.
I would be expecting there might be one a bit more to the bottom, as he's
Yeah,
already
but
walling up.
it's really far away. Oh, you mean on the bottom right? I think
Uh,
there's gonna be one in the bottom left, like in the corner of the map,
yeah,
bottom.
I'm exactly expecting that in the darkness below Kimo's base on the left side that there should be one gold mine. I'm definitely hoping for him that it's not the one that is next to the elephants, spawned a bit more to the front. But I would really expect one gold mine on the left. Whereas on the right, I'm kind of halfway thinking that it's actually even not closed, looking at the shape of the water a bit more to the right of the TC. It's almost looking like
Yeah,
it's going to be a U and very open at the top,
yeah,
which would be
that's bad for the trade.
uh-huh,
That's only bad for the trade.
which would definitely
Now,
be very important because Elmo could be even more pushing for the gold advantage and gold control for him. Because if he can stop the trade on a map like Watering Hole, well, that could be halfway there.
if Elmo goes for 3 TCs, I would really love to see. I would really had loved to see him gather wood from the top wood line, not from the bottom, because that would mean that his villagers to get the TC would walk a lot less.
And he's right now just going for the TC exactly, advancing at 430. Pretty decent advance as his opponent is
Yeah,
still not
he
just now
is
coming.
he's going to take the other TC as well. I want you to pay attention to his gold villagers. That's how you understand if the Zeus is gonna get another TC soon. He has 5. He hasn't taken any villagers from there, which means that he is gathering gold for something, right? Unless he makes stables, which I doubt he's gonna make stables. Why would you make stables? So he's gathering gold to take the other TC as well.
Yeah, he's right now having pretty decent resources. For that, he's definitely aiming for it. He's having 300 wood, he's having enough food, he's having almost enough gold, so he's going to be there pretty soon.
I called it before it even happened.
Good job. Pretty good game knowledge right there. Kimo is just now finishing with the Rhino, so is he gonna move for the second TC? Probably should. That will be some standard 2 TC faster heroic from Ra. Pharaoh.
Is he going Ptah or Bust?
He's going for Ptah.
Yeah.
Right now going for the Pack TC.
If I were Kimo and I knew I was playing against Elmo, I would just go Bust 1 TC Scarabras and just walk over everything.
So we are looking at a pretty decent amount of resources exactly for the town center right now for Elmo. Even though he's a bit more... he's going actually for the back TC. And so he's basically playing it safe. Not really wanting to risk the front one from Kimo. As to be stretching himself a bit too far, even though it could secure him quite a lot of hunt. Those giraffes, zebras and the double elephants yet again. So that might be also some kind of idea for him. But he is definitely thinking that the front DC in the middle is going to be enough. As Kimo is going for farms and of course going to rain pretty soon. And advancing to the next page.
With so much hunt, Elmo just doesn't care. Like, you don't care for the first 13-14 minutes of the game. After that, farming is always better. Because you invest into something that will always give you food. There's no working time, it's like the perfect food source. But it takes time to give back.
So Kimo going for rain, of course, with all the upgrades. He's having plow, shadoof and husbandry, so everything that he needs to make. There was actually some kind of talk about husbandry actually making rain inefficient or some such.
No,
when you're having plow with it.
It's the opposite.
There was some kind of talk that in certain constellation of upgrades, your villages are going to be returning so soon, or rather so much, that actually the rain is going to be less effective. But maybe it was the second upgrade on the farms rather than husbandry, because of course husbandry makes sense as always being helpful.
It's exactly the same thing. Why? Because you're gathering faster and you're working more. And when you're giving resources, you're giving a percentage bonus because of the empower. So it actually multiplies the result of rain. Because with husbandry, your villagers, let's say your villagers gather 50, alright? So let's say they gather for 50 seconds, they gather 50 food, but when they will drop the food, they will give like 50 plus 10% of 50 or 20%. Like, that's why you need the pharaoh to empower and not the priest. That's a mistake from Kimo's part. You need the pharaoh, not the priest. So you give like 55 or 58 per villager. So 10 villagers in like 50 seconds, you get 600 food. That's like insanely high. That's insane for farms.
Well, right now Elmo is thinking that he needs to protect the TC at the top, or at least is trying to do as much as he can with the wall in it and also wall in at the bottom. So he is basically trying to contain Kimo inside his base, and curiously enough, nobody has yet scouted anything in the top corner. So they are probably assuming that it's going to be closed off, but on the new spawns on the Wobbly Balance patch 2.0 maps, it doesn't have to be the case, so they really should be scouting in there. And I'm thinking they are just working in a mindset of the old maps that basically made sure that it's being divided.
Why is he making hoplites? He doesn't get it. You don't make hoplites. They're worthless. Like, they don't have any purpose in this matchup. Not right now. Like, in this part of the game, the only thing that you will fight is groups of units that will run around. So you need horses.
Locusts.
Yes. Actually killed only 3 villagers with 4 villagers using the Wadjet as well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that great. Like, 4 villagers for a Locust, I would take it any day.
Yeah, that was a pretty useful one right now, because of course he doesn't mind all that much. He does have other food sources, so he doesn't need just to really stick with it for like, I don't know, 15 seconds more and such. So he just moved into
Elmo,
the zebras in the
Elmo.
middle.
I wanna slap Elmo right now. Check his main base. He forgot the waypoint on gold, so he has
Uh-huh.
13 villagers on gold. 13 villagers on gold. Now he has 13 villagers on that gold mine, 7 villagers in the bottom gold mine, and 6 villagers on the top gold mine. And then there are 2 rhinos there. Grab 10 villagers and start gathering from the rhinos. You're gonna need the food.
Yeah,
You might not know it right now.
he's right now going to be running out of the gold, and he's already, as if he heard you actually, switching exactly into the rhinos. Going for armory, so he's also thinking about advancing into the next age. And in the meantime, in the front, Kimo is just somehow attempting to go for a bit of raiding with camels yet again. And I'm thinking that actually Hoplitz was an attempt against the camels, because he was expecting it. But I'm thinking that Hippicon should be just fine against that, especially if he gets mediums.
Exactly, and the real issue is walls. You started making walls, make more. Be like Trump. Trump is cool.
This was nice. Oh, that was screwed up by Elmo. Oh my. And
Yeah,
very good reaction by Kimo actually, the 15 cents in there. Oh well, that's a bit of a problem actually. And pretty good steal by Kimo.
there's no
Very
eclipse
useful one.
though. Like, this is kind of gimmicky
Without the
because,
Pharaoh, it's a bit of a problem, because of course it's slow.
yeah, and the C can go down as well. Like, if Elmo played this smart and made the wall, like wall, the bottom, so you have a wall plus another wall blocking out all of the army, and even if he gets the TC, you take it down before he comes into to finish it, to repair it or defend it.
Oh, it's going to be coming just up exactly on second. Well, but right now the hoplits are going to be useful for Zeus.
I mean, like, if he walled it perfectly, he would have enough time to take it down as well. But right now, like, he didn't take a good position. Like, if you're gonna try to take down the TC, just go from the position that your opponent cannot fire at you.
Well, right now the hoplits are definitely going to be paying off, even though he probably didn't think that this will be the case. Even though, oh, let's not be too hasty, because he kinda underestimated the repairing villagers. And especially the Pharaoh, I'm thinking. That should have been
Yeah,
just
there's
that.
only 4 hoplites, by the way.
Yeah, because he's losing absolutely everything right now through the chariot archers, but oh man, 190. He needs to get rid of the villages. God damn it, that's close.
Those were like 10 hoplites and 10 hippicons. That's like
Oh.
not 2,000 resources right there. That's
Oh
too
man,
many.
and he didn't take it down. Just didn't, and that's a pretty huge loss right now for him, because he lost all the army, whereas Kimo lost like nothing. He was just fighting him, of course, from afar, and that's not really ideal at all. Especially right now, looking at scouting with the rock on Elmo's top gold. You can see the budget right now being lost in there, but the chariot archers with camels coming exactly into the spot. And Elmo doesn't seem to be aware just yet that this could be a pretty big problem for him, and he definitely is in some kind of trouble right next to his front EC. He's yet is advancing into Heroic as he's going Apollo, so that should be reasonably okay for him, but the fortified EC being researched by Kimo is going to give him some kind of opportunity, as he's at 3. But he should also continue with the repair, I'm thinking, because he's really risking a lot, leaving it at just 1,000 hit points.
Like, if he didn't make the hoplites, he would be heroic right now. Think it like this: like, if he didn't make the hoplites, he would have and had made archers. He would be able to take some fights, and he would be able to be mythic right now. Never mind heroic; he just reached heroic, but he would be able to make a market now and start going mythic.
Well, right now the battle is of course going well for him, because Kimo is having his military buildings quite far away, and of course classic Age army at medium for Zeus is going to be a bit more efficient than what Kimo can be putting against him. So it's probably going to be finish of the TC with all the hoplites.
Kimo is making camels, that's why Kimo is not winning. Like, you have Petsuchos, make chariot archers and siege towers. Why would you make camels?
So TC should be down without any kind of problems, but the barracks are set up, even though they're probably not going to be helping all that much. There is a bit of raiding right below Blue's base as TC is down, and well, not much really there to kill. Potentially a bit more farmers in there on the right. Yet again, no plow yet, but he's just now switching, so it kind of makes sense. He's still having a lot of hunt, moving on back into the elephants on the left and the lions. And moving forward to stop the siege works coming up from Kimo, and basically trying to somehow secure the position right next to the TC so that Kimo doesn't come back anytime soon. Even though Kimo is attempting to, at least right now, go for the rocks next to the water, so that's probably going to be attempt to control the town center and not allow it to come into Elmo's hands, and maybe if he plays it cleverly enough, he could be transporting villagers behind it. That could be working as well, because of course Elmo doesn't have line of sight on it. And he doesn't seem to be really ready to take it for himself just yet. As Osiris is coming in for Kimo.
Yep, Osiris is gonna be a pain in the RTSE.
Especially without Bolt, because Elmo already used it in the first attack on the TC. On some Petsuchos.
Like, Elmo's economy is so spread out. Like, literally so spread out. It's like he's begging Kimo to raid him. I mean, just make 2 walls in your main base. Like, there's 2 choke points. Wall it!
Yeah.
He made like the China wall in front of Kimo's base, and he's not making 2 simple walls in his own base.
It's going to be a pretty big problem because, of course, he's trying to catch the chariot archers right now, going for a raid with the Hippicons, which are, of course, a whole lot slower. So that's going to be always, or rather, slower. They are basically having the same speed right now, looking at it.
Let's not forget the go-to move of Elmo. Let's not make plow. No plow again for Elmo.
Yeah.
He never makes it.
And looking also at Kimo, he's having pretty nice gold mine at the very top, where he's building the trade, and still nobody has scouted there. And it's really looking like that it will be possible at the top. I'm really curious who's going to be discovering it first. If it's going to be Elmo, it's going to be a big problem for Kimo, of course. Who's going to be surprised as Kimo is going for the town center with 1 villager. Just a few more coming in, but of course...
It was a trap, it was a trap. He was like... He was luring the army in. It's a trap, go back!
Oh, champion upgrade right now with copper mail, copper weapons. Whereas Elmo is quite probably not having anything, just medium. Oh, he's actually having baseline. So that's at least that. As he's getting thrown the back at the Son of Osiris, and seems to be doing that quite efficiently, but with the Petsuchos and the Mummy, that's not very ideal for him at all. Even though he is stopping the town center still.
Too many resources. Like, he just lost 3 times his mythic on this fight.
Yeah, the Son of Osiris is just killing everything in there. And mercenaries in.
I don't know why he made mercenaries though, like he didn't even need to make mercenaries. He didn't even need Son of Osiris to win there.
Yeah, he definitely didn't. But Hephaestus in right now for Elmo. But the town center is up, and that's going to be a bit more problem for Elmo because of the mercenaries, because it's much closer to the actual battlefield and military buildings of Elmo.
No, so... not yet, because there's no trade yet, and there's no gold. Because Kimo is gathering with only 12 villagers, like he's not gathering gold from anywhere else.
Ah yeah,
so
you're right.
He can't really like he can make some mercenaries, but he can't really spam them. But the problem is that if Elmo didn't waste so many units in so many unnecessary fights, he would have been mythic 3 minutes earlier with upgraded units right now, and he would be able to have a chance in this game. But right now he's with unupgraded units, like simple Toxotes, simple Hoplites against champion units. Upgrades. Good upgrades.
Well, he definitely could have had some free shots from the fortress on the Son of Osiris. Unfortunately, didn't really notice, so the fortress is gonna come down through the catapults, which is of course a pretty big problem right now for Elmo to get rid of. As he is sharing the gold mine on the left, going for a bit of melee fight with the spearman. As he's running out of gold, and he should be scouting a bit more. There's still the gold mine on the top that he could be using, but for some reason is afraid to use, and he has started trade at least at the bottom. But still, there is a lot of darkness at the bottom and at the top, which I'm thinking that either of the players should be trying to secure, or rather at least have a look what's there, because there might be some potential problems waiting for them a bit later into the game. As fortress is down, which means of course big problems, as as it means no help alive. And looking at Elmo's resources, yeah, he is kinda out of gold. Not really having enough of it at all.
Yeah, I don't understand why he's gathering. He was gathering gold from the middle, while he has one big gold mine with 4,000 gold on the right, and one gold mine with 2,000 gold in the bottom, and another gold mine with 5,000 in front of his base. Plus he has a trade. So why would you gather from a forward mine? Just make like 10 storehouses around it so that your opponent won't gather from it, and just leave.
Yeah, and right now he's going to be paying for it, and exactly as the TC is coming down, Elmo is resigning, because of course without the TC and without the gold, much more importantly, that was basically it for him, and with a safe trade route for Kimo at the top, well,
And yep,
yep, that worked quite nicely.
check the military tab. You can see why he lost this game.
Oh man, that's some inefficiency.
Yeah, that's a huge inefficiency, and he lost expensive units. Greek units are expensive. They're not like Atlantean where you throw at your opponent. Greek economy needs time to start up. So yeah, losing those type of units early in classical, early in heroic, before you get mythic, you're in a deep shit.
Yeah, that was exactly those two fights. The big fight for the TC, the first one, where he lost basically pop limit army. That was like 30 units at least. And then the second time, when he was facing against the Son of Osiris, it was also pretty deadly. And
Yeah,
yeah,
and he got mythic like 1 minute after that. That's the problem. Like, why don't you wait to get mythic first? Like, get mythic, get upgrades, put some pressure. Like, you know that your opponent has Son of Osiris, and he has like 10 chariot archers, and that's it. So what do? You do not fight head on. You won't be able to stop the TC. So prepare the ground, prepare the map in order to put pressure on other points of the game. Like, you need to think. Right now he will start making a trade route. So where is he going to make the trade route? That's when he needs to put pressure on the trade route. He needs to put pressure on the gold mines. He had more army at that point with 3 TCs. He needed to use that, make use of that army, not just throw them at the Son of Osiris.
alright then, so GG for this third game. And we're going to